The money hit my account, and my marriage died before lunch. I was standing outside my husband's office door with the sale papers in my purse, my fingers on the handle, my breath loud in my throat. Then I heard a woman laugh, soft, private, behind that door, and my body understood before my mind could lie to me. I can still hear Miles's voicemail from that morning.
Elena, call me the second you hear from your attorney, and don't sign anything extra without me. Don't move a dime yet. We need to be smart.
Without me. That was the first crack. The laugh was the second. And when I pushed that door, my whole life shifted. Let me go back, because the betrayal didn't start with the laugh. It started with the way he reached for what I built. I spent most of my adult life building one thing with my own hands, a restoration shop that smelled like cedar, wax, and old paper. Heirloom furniture, rare home pieces, dusty estate clear-outs, coffee gone cold, varnish under my nails. A tiny storefront at first, a second-hand workbench, a stubborn belief. The shop existed before my marriage, before the house, before the family photos. Back then, Miles was finishing certifications, pressed shirts, clean numbers, clean stories. I liked worn wood that could be made beautiful again. Decades passed in receipts, repairs, and regulars who became friends. People trusted my eye, they trusted my hands, and slowly, quietly, my shop became worth something serious. A luxury lifestyle group started circling. Portfolio, synergy, heritage acquisition. I said no for a long time. Because the shop wasn't a product to me. It was proof I could build a life from nothing. Then my body started sending invoices my pride couldn't ignore. Back pain from lifting armoires, eyes burning from squinting at maker's marks, hands aching after long sanding sessions, tired in a way sleep didn't fix. Miles and I always promised later. Later we'll travel. Later we'll breathe. Later we'll stop delaying joy. Our daughter, Leela, was grown with a family of her own. Grandkids who called my shop a magical cave. The buyers raised their offer one last time, an amount that made my throat close. Millions, like a door unlocking. I negotiated hard anyway, because that's who I am. Then I signed. Bright weekday morning, my attorney called, his voice steady like a weather report. The transfer cleared. The full amount was mine. A little over $38 million sitting in my account like a misprint. My knees went weak. I sat in my back office among restored chairs and boxed glassware, and I cried the way you cry when you finally stop bracing. Happy tears, shocked tears, decades pouring out at once. I pictured the plans we whispered in the dark. A quiet hillside village somewhere, warm water, paying off Lila's education debt so it stopped shadowing her life, setting up funds for the grandkids with rules, options, not entitlement. I wanted Miles to know immediately. I wanted to see his face when the impossible became real. I grabbed my purse, his old anniversary gift. Soft leather, my initials pressed into it like ownership. I slid the sale folder inside, paper-proof, heavy with signatures. And I drove downtown to his office, less than 20 minutes away. Halfway there, my phone lit up. Miles.
Where are you right now?
His tone was casual. Too casual.
Did your attorney call? Did it clear?
I said yes, laughing, because I was still glowing.
Good. Okay, listen. Don't tell anyone details yet. And please don't do anything impulsive. This is complex. We'll handle it properly. Together.
There it was again. Together. Like a claim. I told him I was on my way to surprise him.
Elena, Today is packed. I'm in meetings.
Just come later, or call me from the lobby first, okay?
Call me first. Like I needed permission to walk down a hallway. I said sure, and I hung up smiling. I didn't understand what my instincts were trying to pull me away from. Not yet. Miles worked in a glass building where everything smelled like copier toner and money. He was a senior partner at a mid-sized finance firm, long enough to walk like the hallways belonged to him. I'd only visited a few times. He always said work was separate. I thought that was professionalism. Now I know it was secrecy with a nicer label. I parked in the visitor lot and hurried inside, still glowing. The receptionist looked up too fast. Jessa, young, professional, polite. Her smile arrived late, like it had to be summoned. She said my name like it was fragile. I asked if Miles was free. I told her I had wonderful news. Her eyes flicked to her screen, then away. Something tightened around her mouth. She said he was in his office, offered to buzz him. I said no, I'll surprise him. I started down the hall before she could finish her sentence. Behind me, she said my name again, sharper. Like a warning she wasn't allowed to explain. Elevator hum, mirrored walls, my own face smiling back at me. The doors opened on his floor. Carpeted corridor, soft office lighting, morning coffee smell. His door near the corner with a neat plaque. My hand reached for the handle, and then I heard it. A woman laughing inside. Light, intimate, familiar in the worst way. I froze. My brain tried to edit it into something harmless. A joke, a client, a meeting. But my body refused the lie. I heard her voice, playful and close, say his name like it belonged in her mouth. Then I heard Miles reply, lower than I'd ever heard him at home.
It's not trouble if you like it.
My stomach dropped like the floor tilted. I should have knocked. I should have walked away and protected myself with distance. Instead, I opened the door. Miles stood near the window, tie loosened, sleeves rolled, and beside him stood a woman I'd met too many times. Sloan Merritt, the firm's image manager, mid-40s, always polished, always glowing, always so nice. I complimented her earrings at a banquet. I'd asked about her kids' sports schedule. We'd exchanged smiles that meant nothing to her. Their shoulders were almost touching, too close for coworkers, too familiar for anything honest. They turned like a spotlight snapped on. Color drained from Miles's face.
Alina, what are you doing here?
Sloan shifted back half a step. Not far enough to pretend innocence, not far enough to hide history. My voice came out quiet and wrong. I said I wanted to surprise him. I said I had news. His eyes darted to her, then back to me.
This isn't what it looks like. We were just reviewing projections.
I looked for evidence of work. No laptop open, no paper spread, just 2 coffee cups side by side like a habit. Projections. Sloan grabbed her phone off his desk, too quick, too practiced. She slipped past me without meeting my eyes. The door clicked behind her. Silence flooded in. Miles and I stood apart, years between us like a locked gate. I asked one question, simple enough to cut. How long?
Elena, please.
I asked again, because I deserved a number.
It's been a while.
My throat tightened until my voice sharpened. How long, Miles?
4 years.
4 years. I ran the timeline like a ledger. Our grandson's birth, Leela's anniversary party, my father's hospital stay, Miles holding my hand, praying with me. 4 years of performance.
I'm sorry. I never meant you to find out like that.
He meant he never meant me to find out at all. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I felt my joy evaporate into something cold and clear. And I said the sentence that changed the temperature in the room. I sold the shop.
You what?
I told him I accepted the offer. I told him the money cleared this morning. I told him that's why I came, to celebrate with my husband. I watched his face, because faces are honest when they forget to lie. Surprise flashed first. Then something greedy slid in fast.
How much?
Not, are you okay? Not, I'm sorry. Just, how much? I told him, rounded, still unreal. A little over 38 million. For a moment, he forgot Sloan existed. His eyes widened like a man seeing an exit.
That's incredible.
Okay, we need to talk taxes, investments, protections. As your husband, I can help you structure this properly.
As your husband. Like husband was a credential, like fidelity was optional if the math worked. I kept my expression steady. I nodded. I told him we would talk, just not there. I told him I needed time to process. Relief washed over him. He thought I'd fold.
Take all the time you need. We'll figure it out. I turned to leave. Elena, I do love you. I didn't answer. Love doesn't ask how much, with someone else's laughter still in the room. I walked out past the empty reception desk. Jessa was gone, like she'd been told to disappear. I took the stairs because I couldn't breathe in the elevator. Outside, I sat in my car with my hands on the steering wheel. They trembled the way they had after the transfer call. Only now, it wasn't joy. It was rage held behind teeth.
And here's the hook my brain kept circling. If he could hide her for 4 years, what else had he been hiding? I drove straight to my attorney, Dr. Noor Hyland. Not a courtroom performer, a quiet, precise blade. She'd handled my business documents for years. The second she saw my face, she knew something broke. I closed her office door. I told her the shop existed before my marriage. I told her I never added miles to ownership documents. Then I asked the question that tasted like betrayal. Legally, whose was it? Noor explained our region's rules in plain language. Context mattered, timing mattered, separation of funds mattered. She said the business and the sale proceeds leaned strongly towards mine. Then she said the part that made my skin go cold. Miles could still fight dirty. I asked what would strengthen my position. Noor asked one question back, calm and deadly. Was there infidelity, and could we prove it? I told her what I saw, what I heard. Noor didn't gasp, she didn't dramatize it. She nodded like she'd seen this movie too many times. She laid out a plan, like a checklist. Don't tell him the legal status yet. Secure the funds, collect proof, move faster than his ability to rewrite the story. I heard myself promise a timeline. 2 weeks. I left her office as a different woman, not just a wife with a broken heart, a builder protecting what she built. First proof had to come from the place I ignored on purpose. His office, his people, his routine. I asked Jessa to meet me for lunch. Quiet cafe, low music, booth that felt like a confession booth. Her hand shook around her drink. She wouldn't look me in the eye at first. I told her I wasn't there to punish her. I told her I needed truth. She swallowed hard and admitted the office knew. They'd been a thing for years. Everyone pretended it was normal. She told me about their weekly lunches at a waterfront inn, their conference trips that weren't really conferences, a holiday party moment she couldn't unsee. And then she said something that made the next move obvious. Miles liked paperwork. Miles liked control. And he would try to turn both against me. So I hired an investigator. Nora recommended a retired detective named Callum Voss. Not flashy, not cruel. Kind in a way that didn't pity me. He told me I wasn't paranoid. He told me I was being smart. Tools and cautions, no comfort. He suggested a small recorder, if legal where we lived. Nor confirmed the rule. One person can consent to recording a conversation. So if Miles confessed again, I could preserve it. My stomach churned signing that agreement, like I was signing away innocence. Callum followed them. He sent updates that burned in my inbox like acid. Photos, walking too close, heads angled together. Receipts, restaurants I'd never been to with my own husband. Charges, guests that never entered my home. Then the clincher, video in a parking lot, Miles cupping her face with tenderness I remembered. Not jealousy, something worse. The realization he still had softness. He just didn't spend it on me anymore. While Callum gathered proof, I made financial moves. New account at a bank Miles didn't use. Nor coordinated the transfer, careful and quiet. Taxes set aside. The rest moved into structures that had my name and my control. I thought the worst pain would be the affair. It wasn't. It was realizing he believed my work was his reward. I also looked at our joint statements with new eyes. Trust is a blindfold. I found patterns I'd ignored, cash withdrawals that didn't match our life, hotel charges in neighboring regions, a card I didn't know existed. A man can hide a whole second life inside the word work. On the 12th day, Miles came home early. I was in the kitchen cooking the same safe meals we always ate. Routine made him feel in control. He stood behind me and cleared his throat.
We need to talk.
I didn't turn right away. I let the pan sizzle fill the pause. Then I asked, what about?
The money. I've been thinking, I should be involved in the decisions. It's complicated, Elena. You've never managed that scale.
He said it like concern. It tasted like ownership. I asked if he meant manage or control.
Don't twist my words. We need strategy, estate structures, protections.
He started pacing, performing responsibility.
And about what you saw at my office, it wasn't serious. It's complicated, midlife stupidity.
I turned off the burner and faced him. I asked if a 4-year affair was stupidity. His jaw tightened like a door locking.
We're married. That money is a marital asset.
I said one sentence, soft as a match strike. Actually, it isn't.
Excuse me?
I told him the shop started before our marriage. I told him the paperwork was mine alone. I told him my attorney confirmed the proceeds leaned separate. His face flipped through 3 expressions like pages. Surprise, calculation, then something harder, darker.
You've been talking to a lawyer.
I said yes.
You're making a mistake. People want to divide us.
I told him nobody divided us. He did, every time he chose her. He tried a different angle, softer voice, sharper intent.
After all these years, you'll throw it away? Over one mistake?
I corrected him calmly. A mistake doesn't last 4 years. A mistake doesn't have weekly lunches and conference trips. His voice sharpened.
You can't do this. I have rights. I supported you.
That word hit like an insult dressed as a compliment. Supported me. I ran a business for decades. I hauled inventory, built reputation, earned every client and every dollar. He benefited from my stability, my home, my loyalty, and now he was trying to invoice me for it.
What's yours is mine.
There it was. not the man in family photos. The man behind the polished tone. I picked up my purse and spoke like a verdict. You'll hear from my attorney. I'm filing on grounds of infidelity. I have proof. Photos, video, records. His face reddened fast.
You can't be serious.
I told him I'd never been more serious.
Where will you go? This is your home.
I said the word he loved so much, jointly owned. And I said I didn't want it for now anyway. I would stay with Lila.
You're turning our daughter against me.
I told him truth isn't turning, truth is turning on the light. I packed while he argued in circles, pleading, threatening, bargaining like love was a contract clause. When I carried my suitcase to the driveway, he followed me to the curb.
You'll regret this. I'll fight you for every penny.
I looked at him and felt something clean and bright. Not fear, not grief, disgust. I told him to do what he had to do. And I would too. The divorce turned ugly exactly the way Noor predicted. Miles hired an aggressive attorney who tried to rewrite history. They claimed he enabled my success with emotional support. They claimed his expertise guided my deals. They painted him as the architect, me as the hobbyist. It would have been funny if it wasn't my life. But I had evidence. Callum's photos, Callum's video, receipts showing money burnt on their secret life, messages that removed all doubt. And then I found the thing that turned leverage into power. While combing statements, I noticed a new deadline, a loan tied to our house that I didn't remember signing. At first, I assumed I forgot. Then I pulled the documents. The signature looked like mine from a distance, but up close, it was wrong. A forged version of me. Noor didn't react with shock. She reacted with certainty. Serious. It wasn't just betrayal anymore, it was fraud. It was a crime with my name used as a weapon. Noor arranged a meeting with all attorneys present. Morning light, water glasses, paper stacked like ammunition. She laid the evidence down like clean instruments. Proof of the affair, proof of spending, proof of forged paperwork. Miles' attorney went quiet. Miles's face went stiff, like stone setting. Noor spoke calmly. We could pursue criminal complaints. We were choosing not to if settlement was reasonable. Reasonable meant I kept the sale proceeds of my business. Miles kept his retirement accounts and partnership interest. The house would be sold and split after clearing the forged debt. And he would reimburse a portion tied to marital spending on the affair. He signed because the alternative was worse. He didn't apologize when he signed. He looked at me like I'd stolen something. Like my own life belonged to him by default. Somewhere early in the proceedings, Sloane vanished from his story. She didn't want to be linked to fraud in courtroom filings. Apparently, secret thrill is fun until it has consequences. The divorce finalized months later. Early 60s, single for the first time since my 20s. I expected to feel hollow. I felt light, like I'd been holding my breath for years. Lila was furious with her father. She said she'd sensed something was wrong but didn't want to believe it. Her support cost him access to easy forgiveness. That wasn't my revenge. That was his bill coming due. After the divorce, the money became a different kind of weight. Not guilt, responsibility. I hired an advisor, but not his. A specialist who worked with women rebuilding after upheaval. We built a plan that matched my values, not my fear. Conservative investments, quiet growth, long horizon. Another portion went into a foundation. I named it after what I was living. Second chapters. The foundation helped women start small businesses without begging for permission. Lila helped me run it. She had the mind for systems and the heart for fairness. I kept some funds liquid because I learned a lesson about control. Liquidity is freedom when someone tries to corner you. And yes, I spent some on joy. Not reckless joy, intentional joy. Small stone home in a quiet hillside region overseas. A new language, badly and proudly. Markets, sunlight, life happening around me. A water trip with Lila's family on a small charter, not a floating city, something intimate, stars overhead at night. We swam in coves, ate fresh meals on docks with no tourist signs. I paid off Lila's debt. I set up funds for the grandchildren with rules that rewarded work. Education support, seed money for a business, help with a first home, but no blank checks. I wasn't raising future parasites with my pain. And I started dating. Not for rescue, not for replacement. Companionship with boundaries. Dinners with professors, artists, kind men who asked questions. None of them demanded my life. That was the point. 2 years after the divorce, I returned to my old town for Leela's birthday. We ate at a restaurant I would have avoided when married. Miles used to call places like that wasteful. Now, I called it my choice. The server brought appetizers, and then I saw him across the room. Miles sat with a woman I didn't recognize. Younger than him, but not young enough to be a scandal. They held hands like they were practicing tenderness. He looked thinner, older, tighter around the mouth. He saw me at the same moment. Our eyes met, and I waited for the feeling. Triumph, fury, closure. What came was nothing. Mild curiosity, then boredom. Leela touched my hand and asked if I was okay. I told her I was fine. And I meant it. I ordered the best bottle on the list, not to prove anything, because I wanted it. We laughed through the meal. Stories, photos of the kids. I didn't look at Miles again. On the way out, we had to pass his table. He stood up like manners could undo damage.
Elena, you look well?
I thanked him politely, the way you thank a stranger for holding a door.
I heard about your foundation. That's good. Meaningful.
He said meaningful, like he'd ever valued my meaning. I told him I was doing many things, not just one. He gestured to the woman beside him.
This is Dana. Dana, this is Elena, my ex-wife.
Dana looked uncomfortable, like she'd just been handed a warning label. I felt a flicker of sympathy for her. I said it was nice to meet her. I told Miles I hoped he was well. Then I walked away before he could ask another question about money. Outside, Lila said I was gracious. She said she would have thrown her drink. I admitted I'd considered it, but the bottle was too good to waste. We laughed all the way to the car. That night in my small apartment with harbor lights in the distance, I lay awake. I thought about how people describe women like me. They say we got lucky. They say timing saved us. They say money made it easier. Money did make parts easier, I won't lie. It brought safety, attorneys, time, options. But it didn't build my spine. It didn't build my shop. It didn't build my instincts. I built those, year after year, choice after choice. When my world cracked, I didn't disappear. I documented, I moved, I protected what was mine. And I built a second life with clean hands and open eyes. Before sleep, my advisor mentioned a small group photography journey far away. 6 weeks learning how to frame light and shadow. I'd always wanted that. At this age, I finally stopped postponing later. I opened my calendar and wrote one line. Next trip, booked.